911, what's your emergency? Jinx!
Look at us.
Oh, but seriously though, my hand is stuck in a meat grinder.
Got it. Nailed it.
That one was good. I think I was tripping because I was like worried about like saying stuff at the same time while we have this like slight time delay on the phone.
Oh yeah, I'll just sync it up in post.
Yeah, that'll be your job this week. And I'm grateful that I don't have to do it because your boy is busy. Guess what I get to do tonight, Jan?
Tell me.
I get to pack everything I own into a bunch of heavy duty boxes and get it ready to move. And then I get to move tomorrow.
Wow, so fun. You're going to be
finally
in a new
doing
location.
It. A secondary location.
Wow, you and Buck are going to move at the same time.
We're literally moving at the same time. Like he's so me, like getting a new place in like a spooky time of year. I guess we're post spooky and into like, fuzzy Christmas season.
But 911 decided to air this Halloween episode after Halloween, so it's whatever.
That's the thing.
Actually
Why
support
did they do
them
that?
keeping the season alive.
Okay. How did you feel, actually, since we're at the top of this episode and, we'll only have so much to say about this episode. How did you feel about episode 4?
I didn't dislike it or anything. It did consist of a lot of like very conceptual, introspective Athena moments and Athena flashbacks, which did kind of make me feel like we probably could have condensed this into 3 episodes instead of 4. Because I do think 4 is a little excessive for an opening emergency, but it was fine.
I'm like in a similar boat. Listen, you guys, how I feel about the flashbacks, and this was definitely a very structurally,
back to that It Nash review. Good fire, but what's with all the flashbacks?
No, literally, that's how I felt. I was It Nash watching the finale because I was
good spaceship, but cut all the cop flashbacks.
I was living for the space shit. I was living for it, and I could totally tell that, like, I thought there was a poignancy to be found in the Athena flashbacks, and I really liked that scene where she's talking to a younger version of herself in that hyperspace,
that was
sort
cool.
of stark white area. I really liked that, but overall, I was just thinking like it felt like cost cutting measures.
What I don't think we needed was the lengthy flashbacks to her like vaguely sexist coworker guy that we met in Athena Begins having his tragic death arc that alters the course of Athena's life.
Which can I just say, like, how much did it really alter the course of her life?
It made her decide to move on and date her gay husband.
Oh, right. And we come full circle to Michael Begins, of course.
Right. Which people in our comments are saying that we were talking about in Michael Begins, which I honestly have no memory of, which is kind of scaring me at this point because I'm like, do I black out every time I record an episode?
I remember the Michael Begins talk. It was at the end of Buck Begins when we were talking about like a potential Robbie Begins or like this like concept for other Begins and how much like
we talked about
Michael
it
Begins
in the Buck Begins episode we just recorded and I forgot about it.
That we just recorded and you just listened to.
That I listened to. That's crazy. To be fair, I was listening to it at work while I was stocking the shelves. So maybe I was... Damn.
You had other things on your mind.
I need to get my brain looked at.
Here's the thing. When we listen to these episodes to review, we're mostly listening to see if like we left in anything like super problematic that we need to take out.
Yeah, if one of us like accidentally forgot about a part where we like said a bunch of slurs. I'm kidding. The joke is that we don't do that.
No, I'm just kidding.
But we are kind of... I mean, I feel like I'm kind of hyper vigilant about like, because we're off the cuff, sometimes I feel like we'll put something into words in a way that I don't feel totally satisfied with and I'd rather cut out.
Yeah, you never know when you're going to say buddy maxing to the wrong person and then get dragged into a Twitter fight that goes on for multiple days. Oh, by the way, I was doing some research. I was doing some research at 3 a.m. as I often am. And I discovered that I told a lie on our Patreon episode when we were talking about that. I said like the term maxing as a suffix came from the bodybuilding community and then was co-opted by the incel community. And that is kind of true. It was definitely popularized in a lot of mainstream culture by the bodybuilding community, especially like among like straight guys. However, it originates specifically in game theory, the term min-maxing. It originated as mini-max or mini-maxing, talking about like the least amount of moves you would need to put your opponent in checkmate in chess.
Wow.
And similar games like Go, that sort of thing. And it was a term from like the 50s and 60s, and then it got popular in D&D, and then it became popular in the bodybuilding community. So I skipped over the nerds. I'm sorry.
People have been maxing since the 50s?
They've been maxing since the 50s. They've been maxing since before incels were zygotes. So, you know, write that down before you want to come for us. This has been going on for 70 years. 70 years.
As long as Tommy's been alive. So that's what's bold about those butt Tommies trying to cancel us for saying maxing. Okay, back on track.
I just caught the Tommy shade. I'm sorry. It was a delayed reaction.
Back on track, everybody. Today, we didn't even say welcome back to the Firsters podcast.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back to the Firsters podcast,
is younger and more beautiful. And welcome back to it, guys. Because today, we're talking about a beloved episode of mine, and I think of many people. This is season 4, episode 6, Jinx, directed again by Jan Turner and written by Taylor Wong. I love this episode. It is one of those episodes that, to me, disproves the idea that, like, a quote-unquote filler episode in 911 is bad. I think an episode that's almost entirely calls with admittedly some character development but not big character moves can be really fun, especially on this show where it relies on the silly calls. So this one is so fun. It's so funny. And it's such an easy watch. Like, you just breeze through it.
Oh, yeah. This is a very sort of quintessential 911 episode for me. Like, I would like to push back against the idea of filler episodes, because I feel like episodes like this really capture the essence of the show and, like, the spirit of the show.
No, I think it's ridiculous to act like calls that focus on 911 calls on a show like called 911 is a bad thing or somehow filler.
But why isn't Buck getting struck by lightning and then having a coma dream? That's what I watched the show for. Why is this person, getting, sucked on by an octopus and they have to pull it off? Wait, that sounded wrong. That sounded wrong on so many levels. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. We've all been there. And
can I just say I was referencing something that literally happens in this episode. Yeah,
that is what happens, just not in a weird way. I mean, it is weird, but it's not like sexually charged in any way.
Yes, so this episode, like you said, was directed by Jan Turner. She had 2 back-to-back episodes. This one was far and away more successful than the last one. So Juan Carlos wrote the last episode. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, I believe so.
And then Taylor Wong wrote this episode?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering, because you have... So Jan is very competently directing this episode. And then you had Juan Carlos writing the last episode. So like that leaves me wondering sort of, what... what went wrong with Buck Begins?
I mean, and we didn't hate Buck Begins, to be fair.
No, we didn't hate it. Yeah, we didn't hate it, but it's like we had so many strong episodes before that one, and then this strong episode, so it's like the only dip we've had so far in season 4 in terms of quality. And again, that's relative, because we know how low the dips got in season 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's just funny to me right off the bat. But we begin on a high-speed chase with OJ. We open on one of these cop chase scenes. There's an aerial pursuit element, and Athena Grant is on the scene. She is chasing down what appears to be the 118's fire truck. What?
How did this happen? What could be going on here?
Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you about it. We get the title card, and we flash back a little bit. We don't get like a title card to like show how far back we're flashing. It's just like throwing us into it. So that was more of a flash forward is where we started. So we go back to the present moment, and we have Clipboard Buddy, everyone. Clipboard Buddy.
Clipboard Buck is
buddy.
back. And
Clipboard Buck
let
is
me
back.
just say, he's doing some kind of like psychosexual power play with Eddie. He seems to be enjoying it immensely.
Eddie is beaming. Eddie is loving sort of being treated like a dog as Buck, sort of corrects his grammar while he's having him stalk the truck.
I think he's enjoying Buck being a brat, like sort of a, yeah.
I just know this translates to other locations, but anyways, Buck, he's basically running through a checklist of while Eddie's packing the truck, and Eddie's got this shit-eating grin about it, and then Chim and Hen come over. Hen's like, "Oh God, who gave him a fucking clipboard?" Then he says,
the show is officially self-aware about Clipboard Buck,
and then he officially says, "It's a kinder, gentler clipboard." Do you want to know why?
Buck
Jane
3.0, baby.
Software upload complete.
Update. And upload.
That's what I meant. All those things. All those. We'll
been
upload this later.
Updated and uploaded. He has officially moved on from Buck 2.0 and is now on the third version, like now that his parental drama has wrapped up. This is a classic moment for me where Hen asks him, "What's your secret?" And Buck says, "Therapy." Specifically, he's gotten his parents to agree to come along to a few sessions with him. Mm-hmm. That will fix everything, surely, according to this show.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
When are the Buckleys going to go back to Pennsylvania?
Well, didn't they say they took an RV to LA? So maybe they're like living in the RV and they're just kind of chilling for now.
I don't know. I mean, like I heard that and I don't know why, but my mind immediately went to like Zoom therapy. But like I also know Buck is such like an in-person guy. I don't think he would do Zoom therapy. Although he did with that therapist over Zoom.
But he was doing Zoom therapy at the beginning of the season.
Maybe they are doing Zoom therapy then. Whatever. I lie. I lie all the time.
Do you think the Buckleys take like 5 minutes at the top of the sessions to be like, "Wait, how do we turn ourselves off mute? How do I get the background unblurry?" I
feel like, and this is my headcanon. I feel like Mother Buckley, Dee Wallace, I forget her name. She is like weirdly good with computers. Because I know she is running that Facebook account and that like Facebook like neighborhood watch group, like it's like, the mafia or something. Yeah, and she's like, Don Corleone or whatever. And so she's like running the show. And because of that, she familiarized herself with all of the modern tech. The dad, meanwhile, is hopeless. So I think, if anything, she spends the first 5 minutes very annoyed that he can't get his shit together. And like it starts off very tense and Buck internalizes that. And it makes the therapy stall for a little bit. And they have to work to get back to a healthy place.
Well, that's certainly possible. I think you should write this fanfic just like illustrating the kind of minutia of what happened in the Buckley family therapy sessions.
Maybe that's my next project. I'm in the middle of so many projects. I can't. So they're doing family therapy. They ask Chimney if he is joining because presumably Maddie's also in on this. And although we don't see Maddie in this episode, and Chimney's like, no. Chimney's like, nah, I'm not touching that one. He's kind of
cold about it. He's like, it's family therapy and I'm not family. And it's like, okay, damn.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, fair enough though, because like I wouldn't really want to take part either. So I guess that's just his excuse.
So he's not joining, but uh-oh, guys, Ravi begins because who should turn the corner? We get a glimpse and Buck goes, "Hey, Proby!"
And he drops all his books on the ground like a scared high schooler.
He's so whittled too. He's so little.
Buck says, "Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you," but it's like, clearly you did. They ask him how his shift went. And he's like, "Oh, pretty quiet." And everybody freaks out.
Yeah. So immediately Ravi is he's the dumb, stupid young kid who's barging in and fucking knocking over glass everywhere and fucking everyone's day up. So starting on a great foot. Also, he's apparently a B shift probie, which is why he doesn't immediately fold into the A squad. That's something that we hear. Ravi, you dumbass. So this is the thing. You guys, have you ever seen Grey's Anatomy season 2, episode 6, Into You Like a Train? So there's this whole scene at the beginning where Derek and Burke are watching is it Burke, I think, or is it no? I think Derek and Burke had a scene in that, but is he the one at the board, or was it Weber at the board?
I don't think this happens at the beginning of Into You Like a Train.
Or does this happen on the bomb? This happens on the Code Black episode? It's the end of the world.
Does it matter, really? Just tell us what you're thinking of.
Okay, sorry. Anyways, Chimney makes a Candyman joke, right? Because you don't say the word quiet. You don't say the Q word. It's a quiet board. Immediately you say it, everything, it turns out it's a whole... You understand how jinxes work. I don't need to explain this to you, and I won't.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be like, you can't even describe what happened on Grey's Anatomy. I just meant like the specific episode and scenario doesn't matter that much.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'll leave it to the expert. Do you know the scene I'm referring to?
I only know Into You Like a Train very well because I actually read the screenplay once, or the teleplay, because it's available online. And I was trying to learn more about TV 9-act structure. Yeah. But yes, in the fire station and in a lot of professions, to say that a shift has been particularly quiet or slow or whatever is like it's thought superstitiously that will then curse you to have a very not quiet shift. And on this show, it's like specifically the word quiet itself is cursed. You can't say it. So everybody freaks out.
Then immediately after Ravi says the Q word, not that one, the siren goes off and they have to load up and roll out. And then we cut to Eddie in the fire truck being like, this is stupid. That's not what happened. This isn't real. It's like, shut up, Eddie. Did you not just see what happened? You stupid man. Well, you stupid man.
Not that he's wrong, but he does spend a lot of this episode. It gets to a point where you're like, okay, now you have to believe it, Eddie. But yes, we get a strong through line in this episode of Eddie being a skeptic. This is one of the only real bits of characterization they ever give Eddie, is that he's a skeptic. He doesn't believe in magic, in curses, in most superstitions, which is why, just to be clear, which is why I don't like when the show tries to make him a genuine Catholic, because to me that's very out of line with what we've been told about Eddie. Like, I get that he was raised Catholic, but I don't like when the show tries to make it like, oh, you know how Bobby's like a real believing Catholic? So is Eddie a little bit. I just don't like that.
Eddie's the kind of guy who, like, I feel he would see like the shadow of the devil pass over him and like see like everything fly off of a bookcase at once and still not believe in ghosts. And I'm not just saying that because I believe in ghosts, but I think that, he is just like, I get such a weird contrarian energy from Eddie this episode, and I don't like it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh, I like it. I like skeptic Eddie, but he's very much pushing back on the idea that the firefighters should all be superstitious. He's like, you sound like my grandma's like, healer person. And the other members of the 118 start telling him about the last time this happened. And they're like, we got 37 calls.
No, they got 36. They got 36, and then Buck says 37, and they go, that wasn't even a call. That was the consequences of your actions.
Well, what happened, it turns out, is we get this flashback. You can tell it's a flashback because not only is the color grade more contrasty, but also Buck is in a backwards baseball cap, which seems to imply that he's still Buck 1.0.
Yeah, because he was a fuckboy back then, and young, and stupid, and beautiful.
Yeah, so in his baseball cap, he goes to put something in the dishwasher, and Bobby says, oh no, it's already running. And Buck says, really? It's so quiet. And everybody looks at him and he's like, no, I meant the dishwasher. But then the alarm goes off. I'm sorry. This joke will never not be funny to me. I think it's so funny. It's so goofy.
I agree. And then it turns out, so they did the 36 calls, and then back at the fire station, the fire suppression systems went off while Buck was in the locker room, and they just kind of let him drown in the foam for a bit. You see his hands sliding down the glass walls as he's getting, fucking buried.
No, like he could have died. He looks like he's actually drowning.
So just funny things. I probably would have left him in there too, to be honest. But they get to their first call of the day, not their last. It's a fender bender. And then, it's like, minor injuries, etc. And then it turns out what caused the fender bender was some guy who, he's blasting this trap beat.
He's like a SoundCloud rapper who goes by the name Izzy Chainz.
Izzy Chainz he has taped himself to a billboard looking over a busy Los Angeles avenue.
Well, okay, let's not get it twisted. Izzy Chainz is coming out with a brand new album called Stuck on You. So as promotion for his album, he has stuck himself to a billboard with duct tape, which apparently is technically legal because he did legally rent the billboard for the day.
He paid for it, etc. It's performance art, even if it is, extremely stupid and dangerous. It's like a more. It's so funny because I immediately thought about like Renee Rapp when she had her song coming out, rented a billboard in Boston that just said "I hate Boston."
I didn't hear about that.
It was a whole thing with the song, but it was just funny. It was a funny image. So the fender bender.
But when this call hit, I was thinking, man, if only this had been our Halloween episode, because, not only the concept of this episode, but the Izzy Chainz has like this spiderweb motif behind him on the billboard, and it just feels kind of Halloween-y.
There are moments in this episode, it feels like a spiritually Halloween episode.
Yes, it does. And I realized that if we hadn't had to take a week off, this would have been our Halloween time episode. So this is me apologizing again for us taking a week off because we kind of messed up the balance.
Would you say that this is you swallowing your pride, saying you're sorry for that week?
Yeah. And also, I do think, though, that like 911 doing their Halloween episode this week, despite Halloween already being over, we can prolong our Halloween season. So this is also spiritually our Halloween episode. And happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween. By the time this comes out, I'll be settled up in my new apartment, hopefully, probably.
Yay.
Now, so here's the thing. The fender bender is interesting because it's a very 2020s fight of blue hair and pronouns versus OK Boomer. He fucking like crashed right into her contact got dislodged, so her vision's blurry. They're like, are you having a stroke? She's like, no. And then they ask him, do you have a history of like high blood pressure, etc.? He's like, I'm 82, I have a history of everything. Meanwhile, Izzy Chainz, he is being an absolute menace, insisting on his performance art, insisting on it. Buck is like trying to talk him down. He's in like the fucking cherry picker ladder thing. And like, I'm just left with this question of like, how the fuck did he get up there? How did he get up there in the first place?
Right. He must have had an accomplice. He must have.
Well, it's like that thing you see on like so like you'll have like a train like high, like a tracks like high up in the air and like, over like an overpass or something. And then on the side of the tracks, you'll see like graffiti and stuff. And it's like, how did they get up there without dying? It's like the most extreme version of that. We find out that he rented the billboard. Yeah, because Athena rolls up and it's like, are you going to arrest him? And she's like, legally, I cannot arrest him because this is entirely legal.
And she would if she could.
Oh, she's mad as hell.
We get a very interesting moment where Buck is like, question, are you wearing anything under that duct tape? And Izzy Chainz says no. Izzy Chainz is naked under the duct tape. Why would you do this? Why? That's going to hurt so much when it all gets peeled off of you.
Maybe it's part of his art.
He's going to get a free wax.
He will get a free wax. Maybe that was the scheme in this all along. But here's the thing. Even if Izzy Chainz could beat the law, he couldn't beat the law of gravity.
True.
He's not McCavity, okay? He's not McCavity the mystery cat, because that tape is coming undone, even if it's legal. Now we find out that Athena doesn't believe in the Jinx. Now so has Athena been established as a skeptic in the past?
I don't know. We know she's religious, which doesn't have to mean you also are superstitious, but I feel like it potentially means you buy into that more. I feel like we haven't really seen, in the Ghost Called 911 episode, she did not believe that a ghost called 911. And I feel like that might be the only opportunity we've gotten to see if she is superstitious.
I could see her not believing in a Jinx, but I know Athena is superstitious about something, and I have to know what it is. I feel like it's probably weird. Like, I feel like it's one of those things, like maybe her family took a trip up to like the Appalachian Mountains as a kid, and now she won't go into the woods without 3 lumps of coal in her pockets, or like a freshly skinned like beaver over her shoulder to protect her from like the wandering spirits. Something weird that would never happen in normal life. But like when she's there, she's like, oh no, I'm going to take this seriously. This is for real. She goes up to Seattle and she's afraid of Bigfoot, that sort of thing.
Sure. Okay, that'd be really great if we got an episode one day about revealing that Athena randomly is like a big Bigfoot truther. But anyway, we hear in this conversation that Bobby claims not to literally believe in the Jinx, but he thinks that it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy where his team believes in it, and therefore when they hear the Q word, not that one, they start getting squirrely and freaked out and they make mistakes, and that's why the day gets more busy and complicated and difficult.
Well, I mean, that's probably true to an extent. Like, there's definitely an element of truth in that. But it is weird how many calls they get back to back in this episode.
Yeah, it doesn't explain like 36 calls. And also, I think this scene is supposed to be Bobby denying a little bit. I don't think he's being completely truthful, that he only has this very rational reason for worrying about the Jinx.
But Athena, she gives Bobby a lucky penny because luck is more valuable than superstition. I mean, luck is also a superstition. Let's be honest about that. Especially like lucky pennies, good luck charms.
I think that's the joke, is she's saying, oh, you're buying into the superstition, so here's a penny because that's good luck.
Oh, right. And then, who should appear on screen but perfect goddess Ana Flores in this gorgeous red pants and like sort of polka dot blouse combo. Oh my God, she looks so good. Can we talk about this outfit? Can we talk about her fashion in this episode?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's fine.
I think it's so cute. It's so daytime wear. Oh, I love it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't dislike it. It's not really something I would wear, but for like a vice principal lady, which we find out she is, it's a nice outfit. We see her finishing up with a firefighter who's telling her to hold an ice pack on an apparent burn. And then this guy runs away. Eddie happens to be running past, and he stops in his tracks and turns around and he's like, Ms. Flores. And, takes off his helmet, reveals that he's Eddie. He does not take off his mask, responsible king. He asks Anna what happened, and she's like, oh, I spilled hot coffee on myself when somebody bumped into me.
She got McDonald's coffee ladied so hard. She got American Crime Story hot coffee. It was a whole thing. Her hand is like pretty red.
And Eddie says, ice is actually really bad for burns. Like, we should take this off. Let me take a look at that. And she says, yeah, a firefighter gave it to me. And Eddie's like, that's odd. Like, he should have known better than to do that. Which firefighter? And he is nowhere to be found. But Anna's like, he had the 147 number on his helmet. And Eddie's like, okay, well, I didn't know they were here, but I'll remember that. And he like bandages up her hand. She starts asking about Christopher. He's like, he's doing good. He's adjusting to remote classes. And he has noticed that he hasn't seen Anna in a while. And Anna's not one of Christopher's teachers this year. And she mentions that she got a new job. She like finished her PhD and she's a vice principal at a different school. So good for her.
Good for
Career
her.
moves.
What do you think she got her PhD in? Ooh, what do you think she did her thesis on? That's the question.
Well, I assume it was like education or early childhood education or something.
Something specific about like child development in the classroom. Like, I don't know, like the impact of well,
she was an English teacher, right? So I guess it could have been English related too.
Yeah, like studying the works of Emily Dickinson in the third grade classroom to increase emotional literacy
to make third graders more depressed.
Yeah. Literally, yeah. So yeah, she got her PhD. And I will say, you know what was working for me in this scene? Because I actually thought this scene was very cute. I went in being like, ew, straight Eddie. And then I kind of like, I enjoyed the meet cute. And I do genuinely have a soft spot for Eddie and Anna, especially because I know he's gay and that ruins it. But his hair, Eddie's hair in this scene was like, it was like peak Eddie hair. I'm sorry. It was like shaggy
so
helmet
cute.
hair.
It looked so
cute.
like boyish. It was so cute.
And that totally helped the vibe of the scene.
Yes. I would say about this scene, I do think it's pleasant. I don't think the scene is anything but pleasant. But I do feel like it's interesting the way everything kind of grinds to a halt and like loses some kind like you don't feel any. I like both of them and it's a sweet enough scene. I don't think there's any spark. And I feel like the scene loses all spark whenever Eddie has to try and flirt with a woman, has any kind of romantic scene with a woman. And it could be projection on my part. It could be. But I do feel like there's...
Nash watching this episode. Like, great calls, but...
too much straight Eddie.
Too much straight Eddie. Too much meet cute.
I'm sure I'm projecting because, like, I only view Eddie as not interested in women. But I do think, like... there's just sort of a flatness to any interaction he has with a woman, even if there's nothing technically wrong with it, like in this scene.
That's probably because he's an uncompelling performer. That's probably because he's not a very good actor. But basically it cuts off like that. You know, he's like, etc. Take care of that hand, whatever. He bandages her up. We go back to Spider Boy over here, Izzy Chainz. He's doing everything he can to not come down, but they are blowing up the little inflatable catcher thing, and that tape comes off. He falls to the ground, and he stands up, rips the duct tape off. He's like, I'm good, and I'm naked. Yeah.
He's naked.
So at least Athena can arrest him for indecent exposure, maybe?
Right. This does feel like something you would hear about happening in LA. Like, I'll give that to them. I think this is a very, like, LA call.
Oh, yeah. Very much
and
so.
And I think that's fun.
I could totally see this, like, being, like, covered on, like, Good Morning America or whatever.
But the energy kind of changes and everybody starts, like, filming on their phones and laughing, and then they're like, oh, he's definitely going to be famous now.
This album rollout is insane. Like, this feels like something like maybe Kim Petras would do for a stunt or something.
And it does make me want to listen to it if I'm being so real. Like, it would work on me.
Yeah, but they go back to the station.
Importantly, back at the station, Bobby is taking his famous baked mac and cheese out of the oven, and it looks great. And they all sit down to eat. Chimney especially is about to like cut right into the mac and cheese, but Bobby is like, no, we wait for everyone. Buck runs in late. He's like, wow, that smells amazing. And then the bell rings. There's a call. They all have to get up.
Don't stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time,
Let's talk about it. There's a Don't Stop Me Now needle drop. I have a theory about this song being used in movies and TV, which is, I think, whenever a TV show or movie uses it, they feel the need to play the entire thing. I only have two examples in my head, and it's this show and the Shazam movie. Both use this song. And both play it in its entirety, right? And my theory is that the rights to the song must be so expensive and people just like the song so much that they always feel the need to play the entire thing, which is not typical. Like, usually a movie or a TV show will use like a shortened, abridged version of a song. So I thought it was funny.
It is funny to me that Queen will just like whore out this song to whoever wants to buy it and let them do the entire thing. Because you hear this in like every piece of media.
Well, I think that's how most songs work if people are willing to pay for it.
I mean, yeah, but like, you know, there's, I
don't think it's so much that
that.
Queen is pouring it out. Not that that's not something that the remaining active businessy members of Queen, Brian May and Roger Taylor, would do, because they are money-hungry whores. No offense. I mean, a little bit of offense. But I think it's less that they whore it out. I think it's more that everybody wants to play this song in their show because it's an overplayed, overused song.
Yeah. But there are other like overplayed, overused songs that still don't get as much exposure, right? Like, you know, whenever you hear like a Nirvana song in like a movie or a TV show, there's like a reason for that because it's such a specific and unique sound. And like Courtney is like another one that will like, you know, love her, but she'll do anything for money again. That was like, and so like you'll see like Nirvana songs all over the place, but like it does feel specific to like that scene. I don't know. I feel like whenever I hear this song, it's like in these like, it has like nothing to do with the song. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's just a very generic, like pump up kind of song. I don't like hate Don't Stop Me Now, but as a deep cut Queen fan, that's so embarrassing. I do get annoyed with the overplayed ones because of how much they're overplayed.
Mm-hmm. What's like, I don't know, this and like, you could argue Bohemian Rhapsody, but that really only got famous after Wayne's World, because it was
no, it's
100. Not really
well, yes, but
it
has been so overplayed ever since. I fucking hate that song.
That's true. That's
honestly
fair. Except on Glee, because they did something different.
Yeah, sure. The other ones would be Another One Bites the Dust, and We Will Rock You. Mm-hmm. We Are the Champions.
I was thinking maybe Radio Gaga, but I feel like I don't hear that enough.
Nope, not nearly as much.
Yeah, maybe Fat Bottom Girls, but again, I don't hear that enough.
Yeah.
But those are the big ones. But yeah, Don't Stop Me Now, Needle Drop. The macaroni goes back in the oven.
And they play the whole damn thing. But the good news is we get a montage of very funny calls, starting with Eddie rescuing a little cat from a tree. It looks just like Stanley. It's a tuxedo cat.
Yeah, it looks like my cat Martin that I had.
Oh. It's just nice to watch Eddie hold a cat. And what's great is he hands this cat to the owner. And he's like, there he is. He's going to be just fine. And then it cuts to like the husband of this lady is also stuck in the tree. And Eddie's like, he's next. So I guess we can infer that the guy climbed up in the tree to rescue the cat.
I wanted to see Eddie cradle him too. You know, I wanted to see him like hold him in his arms and give him back to his wife. But then we go back to the station and they pull the macaroni out, and then Bucky like yells at Bobby to hurry, and then they get called again and they can't eat it, and then they go to like a pool.
By the way, the macaroni is significantly browner this time than it was the first time.
Significantly. And they get called to like this like backyard pool. I don't know what's going on here. It seems like some weird fur shit that's like happening.
Yes, and there's a girl with a lion mascot mask stuck on her head.
And only one other person there. It's not a party. It's her and one other person.
That was a little weird. That was a little weird. Definitely a furry sex thing going on. Also, they cut the mask off of her and she immediately projectile vomits all over Buck. I wrote in my notes at this point, I feel like this is the kind of thing I worry like would be the kind of thing to happen to me like if I were ever in an emergency situation. Like we like to think like, oh, what if I'm ever, you know, in a car accident or something? I feel like this would be the emergency that I find myself in. I need to be cut out of a lion mask and then throw up all over the hot firefighter.
But then I want to say this next bit like Cosmo. But then they get back to the station and the macaroni was actually burnt. You know, it was just so dysfunctional.
Yeah. They have officially burned the mac and cheese. I don't know why they put it back in like the turned on oven. I get that they probably wanted to keep it warm, but I would have kept the oven at like, you know, for food safety, you just need to keep it at like a steady 140 degrees. You don't need to be cooking it more. Because then they burn it and it's so sad. Bobby's beautiful mac and cheese. Now they have to order pizza, except they don't even get a chance because they instantly get another call because they're jinxed.
And this is a crazy one. A woman is, in the restroom doing her thing, and what should pop down from the vent at first you think it's a worm, and then it's not, because what falls onto her face but a live fucking octopus.
A whole ass octopus. They get to that call and they're like, we think it's from the sushi restaurant next door. God. What kind of situation? The octopus, how did it get into the vents?
They're escape artists. They're smart. They're crafty. They'll get into anything.
They are smart creatures.
But then this guy, he like drops his phone or whatever, like underneath the recliner at like an AMC, and he goes to get it and he gets trapped in the recliner. Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure is younger and more beautiful.
Heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
I was referencing your tweet that you made. That you made about 911 Nashville.
Sorry, I was talking while you said it.
No, heartbreak does feel good in a place like this. And here, et cetera, because here they are. He gets caught in the recliner. You see Chim scarfing down the granola bars. Scarfing him down as he runs onto the fucking thing.
Yes, he's brought the emergency rations. We see them rescuing a little kid who's like stuck in a dryer or something, or a washer.
This episode is so fun. It's so fun. They get like everyone out.
It's fun to just get this like rapid fire a million calls happening.
All light calls too is the thing. They're all like super light calls. Nothing's like devastating. Like no one's like hurt that bad.
The kid didn't die.
Octopus,
in the
the octopus
machine.
let go. It let go like when you put it in water, etc. They get another call. Okay, so the montage comes to an end when they roll up to what appears to be like a party store or something.
It's a clown store. I'm gonna confidently call it a clown supply store specifically because everybody there when they show up is a clown. And there's one clown who has had like a bunch of helium tanks fall on him somehow. And so Bobby starts rescuing him, and of course, there's all this helium escaping from the tanks, and he's got a high little voice, and it makes Buddy laugh.
Guys, can you come and help me? Can you come and help me out with this?
Yeah, it's very funny. One of my other favorite parts of the episode is Chimney goes over to this other clown,
my
like
God.
a silent mime type clown.
Stupid.
and the guy's got an oxygen mask on that they've given him, and he starts kind of choking, and Chimney's like, hey, sir, like, try to cough. What's stuck in your throat? Try to cough. And he keeps coughing and then pulls a handkerchief out of his mouth and keeps pulling and pulling and pulling. And then Chimney just like leaves him like everybody's a comedian. It's so funny.
You get the slide whistle pop sound as he pulls it out. It's so ridiculous. He puts the helium mask back on the guy's face, and you get the clown nose
mask,
honk.
To be clear.
Oh, sorry, the oxygen mask. They're not pumping them full of helium.
That would be hilarious.
Eddie, they are loading back up the fire truck. Eddie is still in absolute denial. He's being a whole asshole about this whole day. He's calling them.
Well, he's being very confident, and honestly, I thought he was being hot in this scene.
Oh, you and I have such different taste in men. I was getting so pissed off by him this episode. I was like,
you should like rewatch this scene and just look at his kind of confident swaggering he's doing. It's cute.
I'm sorry. I've accepted straight Eddie in my heart. I have to admit. I'm sorry.
Damn.
That makes him so unlikable to me. Not to be an Eddie hater. I didn't close on Buddy emotionally. I just closed on it in canon. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
This is the difference between you and me. I can't just turn off my feelings, okay? And so regardless of how much I will end up getting disappointed, I'm still over here like, gay Eddie this week, you guys.
The world will end. The show will be over for 100 years, and you and the Cherry account will still be there. Like, this year is our Buddy canon.
No, I will be here in like the smoldering nuclear fallout desert, like, gay Eddie this week.
Gay Eddie this week.
Anyway, they're all loading into the truck, and Buck specifically says they're all kind of clowning Eddie for not believing in the Jinx. And Buck mentions it's really windy out. Do you feel that? Bobby is about to go in and he's like, nobody's saying you have to believe in curses, but just don't tempt fate. And Eddie's like, how is that not the same thing? Which is kind of a good point. Even if you believe in tempting fate, then that means you are superstitious. But, you know, right in the truck, Eddie's like, come on, this is all normal. Nothing's weird about this. Everything was fine. And suddenly, an entire power pole thing, like what's that called?
It's a power pole. The wooden power poles that connect the lines. It falls onto the engine, killing the truck and trapping them inside without a ground.
Well, making it specifically, like making the entire thing live. Like, I think the whole truck is electrified right now.
Yeah, you can't touch the doors or the windows. It's a whole thing. We go to dispatch for a very brief scene. We get a Josh and Linda interaction, a friendly Josh and Linda interaction, which is rare. And I was grateful for it. They just sort of talk about, you know, whatever, etc. Okay, love them, love friends. Josh gets a text. It turns out he's texting with Chimney and Buck. I love that he texts with these guys. That's very sweet.
I know. I love the lore that they just text Josh on the reg.
And apparently Chimney's asking him for 2 bells and bay leaves. and he's like,
Josh has a really funny moment where he's like, what does this mean? Oh, they're trying to break a curse.
And then back in the truck, like, you know, Chim's like going through like the wiki how or whatever on like how to break a hearse.
We need to say another thing established in that scene between Josh and Linda is Linda found out that Josh apparently requests off every full moon because he doesn't want to deal with the big rush of calls. And Linda's like, I thought we weren't allowed to do that. And he's like, well, you know, perks of being the underboss or whatever. So something is a brewing here that we're not quite sure about yet.
Yes. Maybe it'll even be creepy AF.
I remembered this getting resolved in this episode, but I don't think it actually does.
So I'm going to be so honest with you. I have absolutely no memory of what this is leading to at all.
I think they like prank Josh or something, but I guess we'll find out. So yes, back in the truck. Everybody's talking about breaking the curse. Chimney is
articles are
how to
they're debating. They start debating the difference between a curse and a jinx, which are different things, I will say, because Bobby's right.
Question.
You know, or like Hen or Bobby or whoever says it is right that like a curse like sort of calls to mind the idea of like sort of like a witch, you know, putting a hex on you, etc., calling upon the divine energy of like the dark gods or whatever. Versus a jinx is just like
a more general angering of the gods.
Yeah, you just pissed them off, you know, and they're like getting a little petty with it, right? And so they are different things.
Okay, I liked that Eddie was being sassy in this episode because Chimney is like, so are Jinx and a hex the same thing? And Eddie's like, in the sense that they're both totally made up and not real. I think he's being funny.
I would have kicked him in the nuts. I tell you, I would have slapped him across the face so hard.
I like him. I think he's being good in this episode. Look at you being an Eddie hater and me being an Eddie defender in this episode. How often does this happen?
You can have your little pocket Eddie this episode. I will let you have it.
He's just being a cutie and he doesn't believe in fake stuff. He's just being our Dana Scully this episode.
And I was on Buck and Hen's side as the Fox Mulder of this episode. I want to believe. And here's the thing. In every episode of The X-Files, Mulder is proven right. So write that down.
But here's what's important. If Eddie is the Scully and Buck is the Mulder, what that ultimately means is that they are in a years-long will they, won't they situationship and are ultimately destined to be together. So let's not lose sight of what's important. And Eddie's like, you know, I don't worry about things I can't control. And Buck's like, well, can't you acknowledge that something is controlling the things you can't control? And Eddie is still being a little shit about it. Buck is like, you know, the universe is screaming at you and you refuse to listen, which is such a crazy line to not be about gay Eddie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we acknowledge that?
We can. We can also acknowledge that this mindset that Buck has. I know I just said I was Team Buck in this interaction, but I want to caution him. I want to take a moment to address Buck personally. Yeah. You know, baby, like I love you.
Why does there have to be something controlling the things we can't control?
It just feels like a slippery slope, you know? Like 1 second you're talking about like God or the universe or whatever, and then it's the Illuminati, and then it's reptilians, and then it's 9/11 truthers, and then it's anti-Semitism, and then it's like a whole New World Order shit.
I think anti-Semitism comes before all of those things, to be clear.
It's definitely like the driving force of all of those things, for sure.
Like, I don't think you get to the point of reptilians just in like totally innocent, just asking questions vibes.
Maybe if you're Buck and you're sweet and stupid, and you just
such
hear
a
about
himbo
it.
that he ends up accidentally parroting anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. Yeah, we'll save that for like season 15 when they're really out of ideas.
And also, can I just thought about white supremacist Buck arc. I don't want to think about it. Stop it. But can we also just address the elephant in the room? They did not play Superstitious by Stevie Wonder once.
Yeah, I think they've already used that one.
I was thinking they already used it, but I don't remember when. And I was so pissed off. I mean, it's the same thing with the Under Pressure episode. They didn't play Under Pressure because they already played Under Pressure.
They might have used Superstitious in the full moon #creepyAF episode in season 1. I think. That
does sound vaguely familiar. That's true.
Yeah.
But it's been fully a year since we covered that episode. Like, you can't ask me to remember that.
True. Like, half the fans don't even watch season 1, so...
Yeah. So why should we? Even if we already did.
I mean, that's not true because we like season 1.
No, we do. We do. I'm going to pull my little pocket Abby out of my pocket and put her on my desk. Hi. So Bobby, he's trying to be reasonable dad over here. And, you know,
he actually reveals basically that he is superstitious, kind of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's very superstitious. And then he calls Eddie out for like a weird contrivance in his contrarianism that he still wears that good luck Christopher medallion. I just burped.
I think it's the Saint Christopher medallion, not the good luck Christopher medallion.
But you know what I mean? He wears it for good luck. He wears it for protection.
Yes.
It's a whole thing. And that's a superstition.
He argues that it's more of a reminder of his son and his wife, which I think is fair. Like, I guess it's for good luck, but is it the same as, like, I don't know. If it's more of a reminder of a loved one, is that the same as a superstition?
Well, I mean, what sort of utilitarian purpose are you trying to have this reminder fill? You know what I mean? Is it for protection or is it for like emotional contentness? Now, it seems like Eddie normally uses it for the latter, but there is an element. I mean, Shannon did give it to him when he was, you know, going to Afghanistan.
Well, maybe that just means she was superstitious, but Eddie isn't.
Oh, I so see Shannon as superstitious. I so see Shannon as like the girl that does not walk on cracks, does not walk on like, you know.
I had canon her as having had like a witchy hippie kind of mom. So
yeah. So it's not like it's not from a place of fear. It's from a place of like deep cultural knowledge.
It's just her culture. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
her witch culture.
Like white lady who wears a lot of turquoise jewelry culture and takes a lot of supplements.
Listens to Stevie Nicks and, you know, like it makes little brews in like in her homemade
and
pots.
Maybe is anti-vax, but
herbs.
not in a conservative way, just in a still kind of problematic hippie liberal kind of way.
And
anyway,
gets fired from her job and loses a lawsuit in very public spectacle.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm thinking about that for Shannon's mom, not for Shannon, by the way.
No, yes, of course. That's fully her mom. That's her mom in there. Shannon would never. Shannon would vaccinate her kid. She did.
But some other fire stations show up.
The 133 is on the scene. They roll up and they get out. They're like, oh, help has arrived. And they're fucking taking pictures of us trapped in our own goddamn fire truck.
Yeah, before they help, they have to stop to take pictures of this humiliating scene of the 118 trapped in their fire truck.
And presumably they get out, but, you know, with their dignity not intact. We flash forward to that night. Everyone's staying up exhausted from the events of the day. Eddie enters into the somber atmosphere, and I just wrote in my notes, "Hi, gay Eddie." Turns out nobody's sleeping tonight. They're all reading
Everybody's
books,
reading.
including Buck, which is very unusual
Buck
for him.
Is reading okay, let's go through it. So Chimney is reading like a what to expect when you're expecting kind of book. Hen is reading a med school studies, some kind of textbook, and Buck is reading the love language book, which, guys, can we take a moment to acknowledge the love language book was written by like an evangelical Christian guy, and it's a bunch of made up sexist pseudoscience, which obviously Buck doesn't know, but that made it like doubly funny for me that he was reading this book. Like, complete
this is why I'm
bullshit.
saying Buck is so like on the track to believe in reptilians, not knowing that the reptilians are stand-ins for Jewish people. Like, this is what I'm saying. This is a slippery slope, and I don't want to see him slide down it. It's a slippery slope.
That being said, Buck's love language is definitely acts of service.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And the one that he loves receiving the most is physical touch. And I feel like his heart would melt at gift giving. He'd struggle with it at first because he's like, oh, am I worthy of this? And then like it's a big moment for him of like opening up to be like, I am worthy of this. I do need to accept love, etc. It's a whole thing. Gay Eddie starts doing some Straggett gossip. I'm sorry, he does. He starts talking about Ana Flores. Everyone starts grilling him on Ana Flores. Everybody heard, because earlier in the episode we didn't mention it, but Buddy was doing some Straggett gossip. Eddie is just like being, the straightest gay man in Los Angeles about it. Then, what should happen? Oh, the day's not over, right? They get another call. Guys, they have to respond to, get this, another fire. I told myself that I would count the episodes from Buck Begins to like the next time that they responded to an actual fire to fight the fire. And
what do you know?
And what do you know? It's the next episode. Thank you, Jan Turner. Can we all say thank you, Jan Turner, for these back-to-back actually fighting a fire episodes?
I mean, she didn't write the episodes.
I know, but she has a hand in it.
She did.
So
yeah, okay. So this person's garage is on fire, and he is kind of spraying it with a hose. It's not doing anything. Bobby asks him, like, is there anything in there we should know about? And he's like, oh, yeah, just like some files and Christmas decorations, which immediately you're like, what is he hiding? What is in there? I got like real sinister vibes from that, but actually it's not that sinister. It's just very, very dangerous and reckless, because as he's explaining this, fireworks, a million explosions start going off in the garage. It turns out he was storing like 10 grand worth of fireworks that he had like smuggled in because he wanted to sell them. He's got all of these fireworks, and they are now on fire, all going up, which I realize this is kind of like my opening emergency I pitched in my version of season 9 on our Patreon. I had forgotten that they did a call involving a fireworks fire.
When are they gonna get to the fireworks factory? They play that Beethoven suite with like, the big
Ode to Joy.
Ode to Joy, right? And I gotta say, the combination of that playing with the fireworks going off, I don't know if anyone else was feeling this, but I was getting major Peggle vibes, and I'm just gonna leave it at that.
What is that?
Oh, Jane. You don't even know.
Yeah, I don't.
So there was this game. Well, anyways, so Eddie's getting the hose to put out the fire, and who should be like, Snags, whatever. He's like, I need help, pulling this out. You get over here. Oh, it's a guy in a 147 hat. Ooh, ominous music starts to play. I know what you are. He grabs the hose, helps Eddie, get it over to the house. They're gonna put out the garage fire, etc. And then he kind of fucks off after Eddie thanks him.
We find out his name is Brian. That's all we know.
Brian, and his last name is Harmon, apparently. The name on his turnouts is Harmon.
Yeah, and Eddie also mentions to him at the end of this interaction, he says, hey, you're from the 147. By the way, one of your guys put ice on a burn patient's arm the other day. Could have done some real damage. And the guy's like, oh, weird. Who could have done that? Oh my God, I'll let my captain know.
It would never be me. Away. I would literally never do anything like that.
I would literally never. And then we get a great moment. Ghost called 911 levels where Eddie mentions to Bobby, oh yeah, some guy from the 147 helped me out. And Bobby says, Eddie, there's nobody at the 147. The house was damaged in the mudslide. They're still rebuilding. And so Eddie goes, who was I talking to?
How great would this have been? How great would this have been if it turned out the station, the 147, had been abandoned for years, and that was actually the ghost of the firefighter?
That is exactly what I wrote in my notes. I would have loved if it turned out Eddie was talking to a ghost. I just love like any kind of twist with this kind of old school drama of being like, but that can't be. The 147's been dead for 10 years.
They died in the tsunami. It turns out, so the 147 was damaged in the mudslide. It's currently defunct while they rebuild the station, and all of their firefighters are reassigned to other places. So they do some snooping back at the firehouse. Bobby has his little laptop out. They pull up a picture of like the A squad of the 147. The real Harmon was black and bald. This guy was neither. He was white and had a full head of hair, right? And it's like, what a juicy mystery. Oh, let's catch this pretender who's doing like blackface adjacent kind of by adopting this guy's turnouts. Low key. He's
canceled for way more reasons than we even thought. Yeah, right. Somehow Bobby instantly clocks that this is a pattern that you see sometimes where somebody maybe has tried out many times, like tried to go get into the academy, not made it, and they're so intent on being a firefighter that they just kind of like role play as one, which obviously I don't know how common that actually is. I wonder. I'm sure this is based on some real occurrence. I can't imagine it happens that often, but who knows?
The only thing worse than a pretender or a dangerous criminal or a convict is a LARPer. Stolen valor. Stolen valor. Yeah, so this guy is doing stolen valor as a fake firefighter, which, as we've already seen with Anna, could do real harm if someone who's not trained is trying to do... We kind of see it again in season 8 when, like, Brad Torrance from Hot Shots tries to actually save people at a scene. It's like, you can't just, like, pick up a lady who's been in a car accident. Like, you don't know what you're doing. So it's a little scary for them to know that this guy's just out there doing that. Sorry, I just remembered the wasted potential of the Hot Shots episode and got sad.
Well,
Bobby turns this into a learning experience.
Yes, they start to then have a very deep conversation about how Eddie needs to move on from his dead wife. I thought this was such a kind of insane thing for Bobby to basically just tell Eddie that, it's time to move on. It's only been like a year and a half. It hasn't been that long.
Eddie, she's gone. You need to move on. Just like stopping everything. The soft piano. Can I just say, I really, one thing that really gets me about this show and like the sort of the tonal dissonance of it is like when they take a brief moment, like a 1.5 minute, 2 minute moment to like play the same soft piano music over like a deeply personal, supposedly touching moment. And then they jump right back to silly, goofy 911 music and like a weird scenario. I'm not a fan of that.
I also think, although I don't think this is certainly like the worst Eddie character development episode, especially as straight Eddie goes, I do think this moment is kind of emblematic of the problem with Eddie characterization, where there's so much telling instead of showing with him. Because in this scene, they kind of just tell us that Eddie has been like stuck in the worst moment of his life and is still not over Shannon. But I feel like we haven't really seen that on the show. Like, I guess we saw the Fight Club thing, which I never really understood the source of emotionally or whether it had anything to do with Shannon or not. I feel like that was not very clearly communicated by the show. So it just feels a little like, oh, he's since, you know, he's seemed pretty like happy-go-lucky this season, but I guess he's still stuck in the worst moment of his life and is still constantly grieving his wife. I don't know.
Just let her rest. God, just let her rest. At what point, I mean, we know the answer, but at what point are they just exhuming Shannon like in this gross sort of gauche way? Like, we know the answer is always.
This conversation could be made much more interesting by whatever happened yesterday when this episode comes out.
I just hate how much of a prop she is in his story, if you can even call it that. I'm sorry, this really bothers me. I'm gonna be honest. I love this episode, but I didn't like the Eddie stuff in it for the most part. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I think. Well, again, I liked the most of the skeptic thing, but yeah, I didn't really like this conversation. And I guess ultimately for me, it's just an example of how even like the Eddie focused moments on the show don't really feel like they're about Eddie, if that makes sense. Like, when we actually delve into these emotional truths that are supposedly about him, it's like, I've never actually gotten that sense from him. Like, what are you talking about? I don't get what they think they're doing with Eddie.
Sits to my ear down. What do you think you're doing with Eddie?
Literally, I would love to do that.
I will say, before we get into the fun times, it is interesting because Bobby brings up a really interesting point. Well, Eddie asks him, and Bobby's at a really weird place in his life where he loves this new family that he found. He loves Athena. He loves May and Harry. He loves being their stepdad. He loves like this new chapter of his life, but he would also do anything to have his old family back too. He'll never stop missing them. And so it's like, how do you marry those two feelings? I mean, you know, what's the what if trade-off scenario? And the ultimate answer is like, you can't even answer that because it's never going to happen. And so, but like, it is one of those like weird mind fuck things. Like when you have like someone you love die and then like years go by and you're like, I would give anything to have them back. But at this point, I've changed so much that I would have to reintroduce myself to them. It's like a sort of similar quandary to that. And so I found that like little tidbit more compelling than any of the Eddie Shannon drama in this episode that running in the background. Love Bobby, R.I.P. King.
And also it's a bit of a wasted concept because I don't think we ever got any compelling exploration of that in Eddie's life as a character.
Yeah. Although they tried. Back to fun, weird, wacky times. This burger joint is popping off. Okay, this burger joint is popping off. It's Jim's Burgers, and Larry, not Jim, is
Larry
running the show.
Is manning the front counter, and he is carrying the place on his shoulders. He's taking orders. He's on the phone. He's getting everything together, and nobody even gets that his name is Larry. Everybody assumes that his name is Jim because it's Jim's Burgers.
Goes up to the counter at Wendy's. Hi, Wendy. I'll have a burger. Wendy forgot my fries.
But then this like kid and his mom are getting their food. They walk out of the place. They sit at like an outdoor table, and they're like, Mom, the kid's like, Mom, Jim forgot the fries or whatever. So they're about to go back in. Suddenly, Larry throws a chair through the window of the restaurant. Glass shatters everywhere around this child and his mom.
She calls 911. They're like, 911, what's your emergency? She goes, Jim's gone crazy. The 118 responds.
Athena Grant. No, first Athena Grant is on the scene.
Athena Grant is on the scene.
And she's
Athena
like,
Grant is on the scene.
Make this make sense, Jim. And he says, my name is Larry.
Even she can't get his name right. Athena, what are you doing, girl? Like, what's going on?
But she's like, why did you do this? And we flash back. Larry got a call at the burger shop. And this guy over the phone says, hey, I'm the chief of the LAFD. And I don't mean to alarm you, but there's been a report of a gas leak in your building. Larry's like, what do I do? And he says, you have to break all the windows as fast as you can. So he does. Poor sweet Larry is so trusting that he just does.
Poor sweet Larry. This scenario is so rooted in reality, and I'm going to tell you why. Because this kind of thing happens all the goddamn time. Prank calling fast food restaurants pretending to be city officials has caused a lot of havoc and damage over the years. There was a really great movie about this by I have his name right
here. Oh, no,
here.
I do know about
Craig
this one.
Zobel,
yeah.
Called Compliance, that came out in 2012. It has Ann Dowd in it.
Yeah, that was a crazy, scary story.
But that's based on like a lot of true stories. Things like that happen all the time.
It's based on one in particular. I hadn't heard like this sort of gas leak kind of thing.
Oh, that happens. I worked at a Dairy Queen when I was 18. That never happened while I was working there, but I definitely heard stories about that sort of thing happening. And like, it's just kind of like a known thing that sometimes people will prank call fast food restaurants that pretend to be city officials, pretend to have an emergency, or pretend to, whatever, and, make them do crazy shit, sometimes just for amusement, sometimes to like get them to commit crimes or give them money or whatever. And so like when some fast food restaurants and chains that actually have like policies for like, verifying people's identities, like in those scenarios. Like I think we had a policy.
You guys want to hear some of my personal YouTuber opinion tea?
Yes.
So now Cody Ko is super canceled, but I stopped watching his videos like a few years ago when he made this one about where it became clear that he had become super out of touch because he made this video about how everyone was making fun of like billionaires' houses and interior decor. And he took the side of the billionaires. He was like, why is everybody making fun of them? Like, they're just trying to do their thing, whatever. And I was like, okay, you've become too rich to be a fun person anymore. But anyway, I had kind of stopped watching him long before that because as a high schooler, I would listen to the Tiny Meat Gang podcast with Cody Ko and Noel Miller. And I stopped respecting Noel Miller because he would do this thing on that podcast where he would like prank call fast food restaurants. He would prank call like Taco Bell and like try and fuck with them. And he thought it was the funniest shit in the world. And I remember being as like a 17-year-old, I was like, why is he doing this? He's like 30. And why does he think it's so funny? And this is shitty. Like I work at a restaurant. I wouldn't want this to happen to me.
Like he's Bart Simpson prank calling Mo. Like, guys, I'm looking for a, Mike Hawk or whatever. Like,
yeah. So I basically am just saying righteously that I have been anti Noel Miller and Cody Ko for a long time.
I want to see more butts.
Mostly because they used to like prank call Taco Bell and be like, yeah, I'm shitting blood. And the employees would just be like, okay, like, what the fuck? Like, you're calling, like, that was kind of the best part about it was like, these people wouldn't even really give him a reaction and he still thought it was so funny. And I was like, man, that is loser behavior. So anyway, don't prank call poor people like Larry.
Back when I was like 20, 21, I was really into Curtis Connor. And he made a video about like the whole prank calling, like a pranking essential workers thing. And there was this one, I think soured like the entire trend. It was this stupid guy who made really bad, unfunny TikToks. His name was, I think it's Zachy or something like that. And he had this series where he would bring a tub full like a plastic tub full of milk and cereal onto the New York City subway and then spill it and then try and clean it up and then fuck off and turn that into content. And it's like, you are the literal scum of the earth. I think that's what soured the entire internet on prank channels in general, or prank content, like especially on like service workers, because like everyone saw that video and everyone turned on that guy. And I think he got chased off the internet.
Do you remember there was briefly a trend where people on TikTok would like pull up to a drive-through and try to sing their order for their TikTok? Oh my
God.
That was the one that made me like hate everyone.
If I was working, I used to work the drive-through at the Dairy Queen all the time. If someone came up to me and tried to sing their order, I would literally just close the window. I'd be like, we reserve the right to refuse service. Like,
I
sir.
think what kind of ended it is some girl tried to do it and the drive-through person was just like, no, or just somehow like shut it down immediately.
No, I remember the girl that you're talking about. She had this like, I don't want to say like, she had that vocal style that was really big in like the late 2010s, early 2020s, like sort of the Camila Cabello style, where it's like all in the back of the throat and like there's no vibrato and you're like ending every note.
Welcome to my kitchen.
Not that's a little Bjorkish. I mean,
it was a little more Lorde. Sorry.
Yeah, but she I remember watching those and I was thinking like, not only are you ruining this woman's day, but I don't even enjoy the style of singing you're doing. I'm sorry.
No, like you're not even hot shit.
Like you're not. You're just being a nuisance. I hate you. Some people would even like go up and like pretend to be like in a hostage scenario. It was fucked up.
Oh my God.
But anyway, Jinx.
Poor trusting Larry believed it, and he immediately grabbed a chair and broke the big window of the store. And he's like to Athena, he's like, I did what he told me. He told me he was the fire chief. And Athena like gets mad at him for being gullible. And it's like, I get it. He was pretty gullible, but like, it's not his fault. Like, get mad at the guy who called. And as they're describing this to the 118, and poor Larry is like, I'm going to get fired because of this.
20 years in the service industry.
I'm going to go up and smoke or gas. And Buck mentions, like, actually, there was none of either of those. And Athena tells Bobby that it was somebody pretending to be LAFD. And Bobby remembers, you know, this thing. He's like, wow, that's 2 people pretending to be firefighters in one day. And then he notices this shifty looking guy in the crowd of onlookers. And he's like, or maybe they're the same person. And the guy bolts.
Eddie's like, that's Brian. Eddie's like, that's Brian. There he is. There he is. And Buck goes off Buck like a mad
runs
dog.
After him. Yeah.
And screaming.
Buck is like, I got it, Cap.
He runs off and he's just screaming, I just want to talk. I just want to talk.
But it's the most threatening thing ever.
Oh my God.
But Buck loses him. And Brian jumps into the driver's seat of the fire engine and takes off. So here we are back at the beginning. The 118 engine has been hijacked. The taking of the 118 engine, 1, 2, 3. Now, what's great about this sequence is it ends with, well, it doesn't end, but like this scene of it ends with Chimney and Hen coming back from the burger restaurant, arms absolutely laden with bags of food. And they're like, wait, what happened?
What did we miss, etc.?
Because as you'll recall, this whole time, they have still not had time to eat.
Then we get another short scene of Josh and Linda interacting. Josh comes into dispatch. Yeah. He's like picking up a shift for someone or something because someone got rear-ended by, Josh's crazy firefighter friends. The 118 truck is off the rails. Now, Bobby asks Buck, you know, how much gas does it have in it? And he's like, I just topped off the truck. They could go for hours. Mr. What's-His-Face is driving and he almost hits this jogger. There's this woman who's like jogging in the night and she almost gets run over by the truck and then the cop cars speed by. It's like Chunk in the beginning of Goonies. Like
I need to mention while we're on this chase and we start to get more of Brian's face, this is the guy, this actor playing Brian is the same actor who plays the love interest in the movie Christian Mingle, starring Gretchen Wieners.
Is it really? Is it really?
He's the guy who, in that movie, least charismatic character of all time. He's like, there's a classic scene from that movie where he's on a date with Gretchen Wieners and they're getting sushi, and this like evangelical Christian white man has never eaten sushi before, and he's making such a show out of like finding it disgusting. It's so annoying.
Every D-list working actor has been on this show. There's a rite of passage for like actors in New York. Like, you know, you feel like you're starting to like really break in if you've done an episode of like Law and Order. I feel like 911 is becoming that for LA because they employ so many people.
And I feel like it's almost like the kind of shittier version of Law and Order. Like
yeah, there's no prestige around it. It's tacky.
It seems to carry less prestige.
It's such a tacky show. I mean, that's why we love it. You know, it's a Ryan Murphy production.
Yeah, like if I met somebody who had been on 911, I would be like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Well, you did. Justin followed you.
True. No, Cody Mayo, the actor, I am now moots with on Instagram.
Justin was the character, that's right. I forgot his name wasn't Justin. Not to be confused with the R. Justin. Hi, Justin.
Hi, Justin.
So I love this car chase. I love a car chase in general. It blows the helicopter chase out of the water. Even though it's nothing special as far as car chases go, like it's one of those like Hollywood like production things where it feels like the cars aren't moving very fast because they're not. It's TV. But they cut off the fire truck, and so it has to turn off into like a side road, and it starts crashing into the cars parked along, and the cars just start exploding. It's so Hollywood. I love it.
Yeah, there is no reason the cars should start exploding from being like slightly sideswiped. It's ridiculous. Maybe the first car had like a barrel of gasoline in the trunk.
I will say, sorry to Christian Mingle Guy, but I have played many an hour of GTA 5 in my life, and I feel like I could have handled this better than him. All you need to do to beat this like 3-star wanted level or whatever is just drive off into the hills and just like park in like a secluded spot for like 30 seconds and you're fine. This guy has nothing going on. He has no idea what he's doing. I was very let down by his lack of skill in this chase scene, and I think he's completely incompetent.
Well, he is a fake firefighter, so maybe he's not very good at driving a fire truck.
And I wish him nothing but the worst. But back with the 118. Now, here's the thing. They're still on the clock. And their truck is gone. No big, because they get a 5-alarm call in like while they're waiting around for Athena to bring their truck back. And they have to load into the ambulance. Buck has to get on the gurney. Great interaction. Buck is like, there's not enough room. And Bobby says, just get on the gurney, Buck. Which is such a like dad and youngest child interaction, I feel like. Yeah.
Like just get in the trunk, kid.
They have no hoses. They have no helmets. They have no, oxygen equipment, whatever, fire safety gear. They have nothing to help fight this fire, and yet they will go because duty commands it. And so they're going to join the 5-alarm. They're going to be supplementary, like support, auxiliary support, whatever. Eddie gets this genius idea because he, as we know, he has an intimate emotional connection with the hijacker, with the pretender. And so with the LARPer even.
What is it with Eddie and guys named Brian? Because the gay priest is also named Brian, Father Brian.
I guess it's the Ryan-Brian rivalry / soul bond that we all have.
True.
He picks up the little radio and he calls Brian because he's in the fire truck and he's like, I know you can hear me, tap the thing. And so I need you to meet us at this fire so we can put it out because you have all of our equipment. You want to be a hero. Here's your chance. I know you've always wanted to do this. And then he just starts like he's just like, I didn't want to hurt anyone. I've only ever wanted to help people, but no one ever gave me the chance, etc. He's like, well, now I'm giving you the chance. This is a good Eddie moment. This is a good Eddie moment. I really loved this moment for Eddie.
No, he's like randomly a really good negotiator. I wish this had ever come back.
Yeah. And like it makes you kind of feel for this guy because he is way in over his head, but he is also a menace to society. He is a menace.
Oh, yeah.
So whatever. But you do emotionally like sort of get where he's coming from. And here's the kicker. It works. They try and corner Brian, right? Like with the squad cars or whatever, and he just like backs out or whatever, and Athena's like, don't make this harder than it needs to be. And so then he keeps driving down like the roads and whatever. So they continue to pursue him. Athena does not have time for any of this. And then he rolls up to the scene of the fire. With the truck, all the gear, everyone's like, yay, hero. He runs away, trips over a fire hose. Athena catches his ass and has no time for him. He's getting stuffed into the back of the squad car. And he's like, wow, you must work with people all the time. You save people every day. She's like, don't even think about it. And slams the door in his face.
Is the implication that he's going to like shift his subject of obsession to cops instead of firefighters?
That is what I was getting. That is what I was picking up from this. I think it's very funny that like there's just something fundamentally wrong with this guy's brain that he's
like ill.
He's fully in pursuit of like the glory of like helping people in like a sort of a dark mirror version of like the way Chim was in like season 1, but like he doesn't have like anything to contribute, and so he's just like the biggest liability of all liabilities. And he would never make it as a responder. Well,
it makes me wonder what's so wrong with him. Because no offense, but isn't it pretty easy to become a cop? Isn't that like the whole thing is they kind of recruit people like crazy, especially now that they're all understaffed and stuff?
Yeah, this is the thing. I feel like he's just like a deeply sort of sad person who, I don't know, let's psychoanalyze the guy. He's probably been like denied like a lot of times in his life. He's probably, he probably didn't have a very happy childhood. Maybe it was an unstable household. He's probably not that very lucky with women because he has a bad personality. And so he has this like deep sort of sense of unfulfillment, and he places first responders on this pedestal because they help people and they get so much glory in doing so, and he doesn't see any of the actual work that goes into like the training to be a firefighter, etc. Or the actual like what the job actually entails. So even if he tried to be recruited and like sign up for the LAFD, he didn't have the stuff to make it, because what he's actually searching for is that sense of fulfillment that he's like he's hyper fixating on this idea of like the glory, the image of like the glorious heroic firefighter. And when that completely crumbles and falls away, he instantly jumps ship to the cop arresting him. He's like, wait, a new thing to latch on to.
Yeah, basically Brian needs a lot of therapy.
A lot of therapy.
And maybe a good hobby, like maybe learn to paint or something.
Yeah, supplement your feelings of unfulfillment, like sublimate them into art and create like sort of like a healthy outlet for these feelings so that you can be a more fulfilled and stable person that can actually contribute to society rather than just menacing poor Larry at Jim's Burgers. I mean, this is we could work with this. So I feel like if we just sat down and talked with the guy and helped him find his passion, we could really get through to him.
Right. Imagine if this character comes back later in the show and he like becomes a real firefighter.
I feel like he would just become Cart Cop again.
Yeah, no, that's true. Cart Cop was kind of a similar concept. Remember when we thought that Cart Cop was going to become like an actual cop character on the show?
Jane, that was lifetimes ago. That was lifetimes ago. So much has happened since then.
We've lived so many lives.
But anyways, they presumably fight the fire, put it out, whatever. And then the next morning, finally, their shift comes to an end.
Yes.
Oh, Bobby's gonna buy them all breakfast.
Yay.
So sweet.
I wish I could go with them.
Well, Eddie can't go with them either, so maybe you could join Eddie and be gay together, because Eddie's gonna go do gay stuff
and be the third wheel on his date.
Well, you could be on a date with Anna, and then he could be the third wheel, and then he could realize that
and then
he's not interested in women.
learn something about ourselves.
And then he goes and makes sloppy, weird, gross sex with Buck.
Okay, well, yeah, I guess. So unfortunately, Eddie already has plans, and it's to go on a date with Anna. And also in this scene, he's like leaning against a pillar in the fire station, and he is just showing off that arch so bad. Like,
oh my God.
His butt to waist ratio. I'm not trying to be like uncouth or whatever, but like it gets to a point.
It does get to a point.
I can't not acknowledge it.
I just saw a pic of Halloween Buddy fan art, and Eddie's ass was like it was beyond Nightwing. It was like it was proper BBL. It was insane. And then I watched this and I was like, that's not even that far off. It's not that far off.
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy.
Like,
why is it always the people who didn't ask to have a ginormous ass who get it?
But then, ooh, Jane, we get your favorite kind of wrap-up scene.
That's right. It is a Perry Mason-style wrap-up scene where the gang are sitting around the breakfast table being like, so let me get this straight. Brian was never a firefighter? And then they all kind of unpack the mystery together. It turns out because the 147 house was out of commission in the mudslide, Brian must have just found some gear, hosed it off. It looked legitimate, and he'd just put it on and show up to these scenes of accidents.
Mm-hmm. He bought a scanner to listen in on their little dispatch calls. And the reason, because that all makes sense, but why did he call in the fake gas leak to Jim's burger? Excuse me. Oh my God. Last time I drink Diet Coke during a recording session, he lied. So that's the question of why did he call in the fake gas leak to Jim's Burger restaurant? Turns out he didn't call in a fake gas leak. He called in what he believed to be a real gas leak, because he's not just a fake firefighter. He's a terrible firefighter.
Yeah, apparently he does not know what gas smells like, or he smelled something that he thought was gas and wasn't. So he just decided on a whim to call the place.
It was probably just Larry's fart or something.
Maybe.
He thought it was
don't
real.
Don't slander my man Larry. He's been through enough tonight.
I take it back. I'm sorry, Larry. I'm sorry to drag you through the mud like that. It was definitely one of the cook's farts. And so he did all that because he thought it was real. He is unhinged. He needs therapy. He needs to find his passion in life. And so they're all sitting down. Get some scrambled eggs, some sausage.
The food arrives. Yay. We've been hungry for so long. They're toasting with their forks. And suddenly, before they can take a single bite, a nearby restaurant patron clutches her chest and keels over, having some kind of heart attack or something. And everybody's like, okay, Buck, get the AED. Everybody places. It's time to save another person. The grind never stops.
I love how much this just how much they care about this sort of thing, because when this happens, they don't even sigh or groan. They instantly jump into action out of genuine concern for this woman's health. If that were me, I would have turned the other way. I would have been like, oh my God, is there a firefighter here?
Ooh, that sucks, but I'm actually off the clock right now. Yeah. It would be kind of against labor laws for me to act right now.
Yeah, this is basically slave labor, me doing this. This is unpaid work. I'm not being compensated. I will get to the end of a bartending shift, even just a 6-hour bartending shift, and I will be so tired, I don't even want to look at another drink. And so when there's a table who's can we have one last round? I'm just and then I'm just very begrudgingly making mimosas and Bloody Marys and shit. I'm just God. But we don't linger on Heart Attack Lady because Eddie is getting ready to do some gay stuff with Anna.
For all we know, she died. She died, and that put a damper on breakfast.
They're I can't even eat this sausage anymore. It's too bloody.
It reminds me too much of that lady's poor calcified heart.
Everywhere I go, I see her face.
We cut to Eddie, who is nervously poring over the menu of the slightly fancier brunch place he's gone to. I like the idea that, obviously he's just nervous for the date, but I like to imagine that he was actually just really stressed about what he was going to order.
Mm-hmm.
He was everything looks so good.
Because you get that too. Because I get that. I get such decision paralysis with menus. I get so bad with it.
And I'm wait, guys, don't talk to me too much. I'm still trying to figure out what I want.
I'm so what does Rachel want? But yeah, Anna shows up.
Who should show up but Anna? And what song should start playing but Waterloo Sunset by the Kinks, which I almost found a little insulting because it's just such a beautiful song wasted on such a kind of nothing romance. No offense, I do like Anna and I do like Eddie, but together, and also we know retroactively that this isn't gonna last.
Mm-hmm. That's why I've been enjoying indulging in the Anna Eddie stuff, because I'm I know this isn't gonna last, and I know this is just a speed bump on the road to gay Eddie, so let me just enjoy the vibes and two beautiful people looking at each other. Anna
but
is
the
wearing,
song specifically. Yeah.
I didn't even notice the song because I was focused on her fashion. She is wearing these very tasteful, chunky kitten heels with this, very cute sort of pale pink skirt like that goes down to her knees, and then like a white blouse, very loose fit. It was so cute. It was so vice principal core.
I think her style doesn't quite resonate with me because I'm just not a fan of like the sleeveless button up, which she wears a lot of.
Really? I love that sleeveless button up, especially like how like it like sort of spills over like the sides of the skirt, like while retaining like sort of like definition. You know, I thought it was so flattering, and I thought it was so cute. The color combo was so good.
If I was a judge on Project Runway, I would say it looks a little matronly to me. It can come off mumsy.
I think it comes off classy and professional. And look, oh my God, Jane, at least look at her hair. Her hair looks so gorgeous in this scene.
No, her hair is very gorgeous. But back to the song. I'm just like, I really like the song Waterloo Sunset by the Kinks. And I think I read once that like some critic called it like the most beautiful song in the English language, which I don't know if I would go that far, but I think it's a poignant thing to say about it. And I guess I felt that it was wasted on this like boring ass Anna and Eddie first date scene. Like, what about that warrants such a beautiful song? Such a melancholy song.
You're right. They should have gone with My Headband.
Exactly. Speak on that.
There you rest with all the rest of my accessories on my nightstand.
It should have been Only Child. So we end the episode on Eddie Anna, which is hilarious because we know how badly this relationship will end. But yeah, it's like you said, it's like all about just stopping and smelling the roses and enjoying the ups and downs as life throws them at us. But that being said, I don't really like contemplating straight Eddie. So that's too bad.
We do get a funny button to this scene. Where the waitress, she asks, coffee for you guys? And they both go, no coffee. Jinx! And then it ends.
Jinx.
And I thought that was cute. That was cute.
Yeah, it was cute.
I liked this episode so much.
Yeah, it's a very nice one. And if it weren't for Eddie's raging homosexuality, I would, even think that this was a cute start to a relationship on the show. Unfortunately, it is.
It is. But this episode flies. This episode is paced very well. I enjoyed all of the calls. I enjoyed the montage because, like, even though the song is overplayed, I still think it had the energy to carry a montage like this, although they could have gone with another song, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I liked the content of the montage.
Okay, here's the thing. I don't listen to Queen enough to, like...
Well, that's the thing, is you don't intentionally listen to Don't Stop Me Now. You hear it thrusted upon you at every turn by every movie and every show and every like bar and every department store.
But here's the thing, Jane. You watch a lot more bad movies than I do. So I feel like you've heard this in bad movies more than I have.
Like you didn't love the Shazam movie.
Oh,
that I only watched once when it was in theaters.
I did love that movie. As embarrassing as it is to admit now, because every 85% of my body is hatred for Zachary Levi. I did love that movie.
I've only watched probably one bad movie with that in it, and it was Red, White, and Royal Blue. And
I did see that.
I said I hear it in real life, like at stores and stuff.
Hey, maybe they'll do Bohemian Rhapsody for Red, White, and Royal Wedding.
Oh, God. You know, what I can only hope that maybe that movie will be better because it's not based on the book, and maybe they'll get a different director than that playwright who doesn't know how to direct movies.
No, they did. I think they fired Matthew Lopez because he was bad at directing.
Yay.
I'm grateful for that. I do think it will probably be better if it has an original, like it's not trying to adapt a book, and it's competently directed. I think the director they got, because I think they announced it, has like a decent list of credentials. Anyways, I said at the start of this that we weren't going to go off on a lot of sidetracks this episode, and this episode has been like a lot of sidetracks. Look at how many. We sang not one, not two, but 3 original Glee songs in the tail end of this episode alone.
Yeah, I might cut that down a little bit.
Be liberal with it. It's totally fine. That's your discretion. If you want to include our little singing Glee songs as a YouTube exclusive.
Okay, the girl that they got to direct Red, White, and Royal Blue 2 is the director of But I'm a Cheerleader.
What? Oh, I did hear that.
And she's a woman.
That's right. Oh,
so
shit.
low-key, this could be... She's a lesbian woman. I'm sorry, this could be a slay. I am ready to enjoy this movie better than the first, at the very least. I wonder who's writing it, though.
Let me put all of my distaste for the original movie out of my brain and get excited for this. Although it could be like a situation like... you take like good directors and then you put them in bad projects and they're like, despite their best efforts, it's still bad.
Yes, I'm very curious to see who will... Okay, a script by Gemma Burgess, Matthew Lopez, and Red, White, and Royal Blue author Casey McQuiston.
I don't trust 2/3 of those people. I'm going to be honest.
True. Okay, the book isn't terrible. And also, Casey McQuiston did allegedly possibly write a pretty okay fan fiction about Andrew Garfield and Jesse Eisenberg.
I'm aware. I saw your video. I saw the video.
Carry it in my heart, baby. Anybody want to play some Sufjan Stevens? Any excuse to bring up the Andrew Garfield, Jesse Eisenberg fan fiction. I have the playlist on my phone. Listen, Matthew Lopez does seem like a better playwright than a director. So maybe...
he's an excellent playwright. He's an excellent writer when working in theater. But here's the thing. The screenplay of the original movie was also not good.
Yes, I agree, but I don't think he wrote the first one, unless I'm wrong.
He did. I'm pretty sure he wrote and directed it, right?
But also, like, if you're like writing like serious gay drama theater, and then you get asked to it was co-written by him, and then you get asked to write a shitty gay rom-com based on like a stupid fan fiction book, no offense, then I think that's why the film is so tonally weird is, you've got this guy. I'm not saying his plays aren't funny. I don't know that for a fact. He apparently co-wrote the book of the stage version of Some Like It Hot, which I know people like, and that's probably comedic. But like maybe he wasn't that prepared to do this sort of like Gen Z rom-com, and also he was, I think, trying to take it too seriously at some points in a way that was weird. And the direction is just so bad. Like sometimes bad direction can ruin an even okay script.
But you hear him talk about it in interviews, and he was so serious about it. Like it was honestly kind of embarrassing.
No, he thought he slayed. He thought he ate that so hard.
He was so like self-important about it, and that honestly kind of soured me on him too, because he wrote like my favorite play, which is The Inheritance. Yeah, I know that's cringe to say as your favorite play, but I love that play so much.
I don't have any opinion on that. I love Howard's End. I'm interested in a gay guy adaptation of it.
You know what? Maybe because your birthday is coming up, I'll send you a copy as like a gag gift.
Wow. Yeah, yeah.
But no, so I think he's an excellent playwright. He's written a lot of really, really great plays. And I read most of them, and he's very good working in the medium of theater because that's his primary like area of study. And I just think that like he's not that comfortable working in film. I do think that maybe the first one was a learning experience, and maybe he'll be better the second time around. But like,
except everybody just gassed up the first one, so
everyone gassed it up so hard. I don't think he learned anything.
So I worry that he might not get what was bad about the first one. I hope he's watched my video. Then he would get it.
Do you remember that guy on Twitter who tried to mansplain to you why it was a good movie?
Oh my God. That was crazy. He would not quit. Before I decided to engage him in conversation on it, he had been tweeting me, commenting on my YouTube videos, like to try and argue that I was wrong about my opinion about the movie. Like, I'm sorry, but like, you're not going to talk me into thinking I liked it. Because I didn't. You can share your thoughts with me, but
no, I remember when this was going down on Twitter, and I was DMing you, like we were just like talking, and like I like it was low key like shitty of me to do, but I was like talking shit about him with you in your DMs, and so then I engaged with him, being like, this is my opinion on the movie, and then he starts trying to mansplain to me why it's actually a good movie, and I did not have time for it. I just went like, I don't give a fuck.
No, it's clear that he just has a very passionate take on it and is unwilling to budge on that. But it's crazy because, like, ultimately all my YouTube takes are opinions, you know, and you can disagree, but like that doesn't mean you're going to be able to talk me into liking something whose experience I didn't enjoy.
Well, you'd think, and this is the fallacy of making long-form content, you would think that having a very well-articulated long-form video would sort of, I guess, sort of ease like people into your perspective. It doesn't. It really doesn't. If anything, it just makes them madder because you're talking for a long amount of time and they don't feel heard for even longer, you know?
Well, if clearly they have already their own thesis about it, they're not really listening. They're just like, well, this isn't what my thesis says, so this is wrong.
Right. And it's like, just make your own video then.
Literally.
Just make your own video. I'm sorry.
I think he was trying to argue, because I had talked about like what I perceived as this really weird, tonally dissonant, like kind of lonely emptiness to the entire film and the tone of it. And he was trying to argue with me about how, like, actually it's intentional to show how isolated Alex was. And I was like, there's a big difference between using filmmaking to depict a character as lonely and isolated, like in the part of the arc where that makes sense, and then like opening up that world and having an arc there. There's a difference between doing that and having the entire film, including the parts that are supposed to be romantic and supposed to be life affirming, still feel like weirdly empty and hollow and shallow and devoid of any real world groundedness. And there's just a weird, that movie kind of gives me the creeps. It feels scary. You know, it feels like there's something wrong with it. It feels like it takes place on a different planet or something.
Yeah, that movie doesn't feel scary to me. It just feels like cliche and bad and pandering to like the loneliest gays in the world.
I've seen cliche movies that are much better than that. There's that don't unsettle me the way the tone of that film does.
Well,
it feels like they made it during COVID and they couldn't have any actors on set, you know? It feels like there were only like 5 people in the world of that movie.
No, it does feel like a strangely empty movie, especially because they're allergic to big crowd shots, because I guess probably production constraints, but also maybe budgetary constraints. Like, you remember when like when the prince or whatever is like going out to like see like the crowd of supporters outside of Buckingham Palace. Also, politically, that movie like really weirds me out. I'm not a fan of like the very unquestioning, like, you know, I don't want to say endorsement, but very like unquestioning like perspective on like the royal family. And like, you know,
that takes root in the book for sure, and I have a whole video about that.
This is why I don't trust Casey. I'm sorry, I don't. Sorry.
I mean, it's just a very sort of liberal millennial kind of way to look at the world.
And that bothers me. It bothers me. I'm sorry.
No, absolutely. I think, again, I have a whole video about this. I think it was just very rooted in the kind of depression that people had following the first Trump win.
Yeah.
But instead of taking that to like a sort of revolutionary place, it's just like, what if the world was back like it was in 2015?
It just feels like a movie that like Joe Biden would watch in 2013 and tweet about being very beautiful. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just
those two guys they really loved each other. Say what you want about the gay marriage question, but Alex and Henry, they loved each other. My dad does a better Joe Biden than I do.
I believe it. But anyways, we have talked for a long amount of time, and we're just about to hit the 2-hour mark, so we should cut things off here.
Anyhow,
thank you guys for listening to this episode of the First Risk Podcast. If you want to support us further, follow us on social media at First Risk Podcast, spelled how it sounds, and consider subscribing to our Patreon. We just put out our October Patreon bonus episode where we watched, I almost watched 911 movies. We watched Halloween movies starring 911 actors. Okay.
So if you want to hear us discuss a piece of media where Ryan Guzman plays a character who is also thrust into a supernatural situation and must become a believer, kind of, you can hear us talk about The Cleansing Hour.
And you can also vote in our November Patreon poll, which is currently live. And it's anyone's race at this moment. So make your voice heard, okay? Register to vote, and God damn it, just vote. You are living in a world where the New York election has already happened, but as of recording this on Monday, November 3rd, I am not. So let me know how it goes. I think we all know how
True. I have to remember to vote in the St. Paul mayoral election tomorrow. Tomorrow, my time. Anyway, thanks for listening, and don't buy into any superstitions unless they're real.
Which they just might well be.